Blackout Ripper was a serial killer who killed 4 women and attempted to kill another 2 over a 6-day period in February 1942. He was called the Blackout Ripper because he committed his murders during the imposed wartime blackouts, and he also mutilated his victims, reminiscent of Jack the Ripper in 1888. On Sunday the 8th of February 1942, Evelyn Hamilton, a 41-year-old pharmacist, was walking back to her boarding house. She was attacked and strangled in the middle of the night, and her body was dumped in an air raid shelter. 2 days later, 34-year-old Evelyn Otley was murdered in her flat. She was beaten around the head, strangled, and had her throat cut. Her abdomen, genitals, and thighs were mutilated with a razor and a tin opener. She was also sexually violated with an electrical cord. Over the next few days, from the 11th to the 12th, 2 more working ladies were slain, and another victim survived being strangled by the Ripper. Again, the victims were beaten, strangled, with post-mortem mutilation occurring. The eminent pathologist at the time, Sir Bernard Spilsbury, described the perpetrator as a savage sexual maniac. On the 13th of February, Margaret Haywood, a young married woman, was accosted by a man and resisted his sexual advances. He then proceeded to wrap his hands around her throat and strangled her. However, he was disturbed by a passerby when he was going through her handbag. Margaret would eventually regain consciousness. When he left hurriedly, he left his gas mask and haversack behind with a serial number in it. This was traced to a 28-year-old RAF serviceman, Gordon Frederick Cummings. He was arrested and charged with the murder of Evelyn Otley and would ultimately be found guilty of her murder. Gordon Cummings was hanged by Albert Pierpoint at Wandsworth Prison on the 25th of June at 8 a.m. 1942. As the noose was slipped over his head from his lifeless body and he was placed on a stretcher, air raid sirens started to wail, warning the citizens of London an impending airstrike was going to happen.